In today's news, number of active cases in the BVI decreased to 2, as well as the BVI public offers their views on the Commission of Inquiry right here in the British Virgin Islands.
And today as well, we are live with Dr. Sharlon Lewis to speak about her COVID-19 experience. And of course, all you need to know as it relates to the AstraZeneca vaccine here in the BVI. And the BVI is now set to participate in a golden virtual roadshow to entice North American tourists. Viewers, all that and so much more on today's edition of 284 News.
Gentlemen, inspiring gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BVI. Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production.
Hey Johnson, what's up? Well, you look like you're about to pass out.
I think I am. But anyhow.
Cho, what you doing?
Remember last year when I spoke to you over the phone? When I said, well. Anyhow, ever since that moment, I was wanting to take this step further with you.
OMG, Johnson!
I want to know if you, Via, would officially have me as your sales rep with a friend.
What?
To get live with our February promotions.
Huh?
Get live, get love, and get gifted. Bring a friend to CCT to sign up for a freedom plan, take a picture with them in the store, and post to social media with the hashtag GetLiveCCT. Then put your receipt with your number in the golden basket and wait on a call from Jante. First place gets $500 each. Second place, matching Samsung Galaxy A30s. And third place, $150 shopping vouchers each to one mark.
So are you really saying?
Really? And I could bring a friend too?
More the merrier.
Welcome there, viewers. Today is Monday, February 15th, 2021, and we're coming to you live straight out of the British Virgin Islands. I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes.
And my name is Javon Wilson, bringing you your daily dose of local, regional, and international content right here on 284 News.
Now, Javon, we've been fighting the fight against COVID-19 for quite some time now, but the BVI has now recorded just 2 active cases. So now we see where the positive active cases are now down to 2, with 150 cases being recovered and a total of 153 cases recorded in the territory altogether. Now we're very happy that we just have 2 active cases. Of course, we want to wish those persons a speedy recovery, but we're very happy to see this here in our BVI territory.
It's certainly something to celebrate, especially as we see those numbers decreasing in the territory. And we do know that of the 2 cases, they're both asymptomatic, which means they're not really displaying any symptom or any adverse symptom, that is. So again, speedy recovery to both of those persons. Now, the BVI Health Services Authority is now inviting the private healthcare frontline workers to be a part of the AstraZeneca vaccine rollout as part of phase 1 of the distribution. Now, eligible healthcare providers working in private healthcare facilities can get their vaccine from today, Monday, of course, February 15th, up until Wednesday, February 17th, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Dr. D. Orlando Smith Hospital. Now, viewers, we're so excited to get into our newscast. Right after the commercial break, we are speaking to Dr. Sharlon Lewis, who, of course, was one of the private medical professionals who was actually able to secure the vaccine. She's telling us all about that experience, so we invite you to stick and stay for that. But for now, we'll head straight into our newscast. Now, the BVI Tourist Board and Film Commission's North America Promotions Marketing Office continues to promote Destination BVI through innovative campaigns. From the 16th of February through the 18th, travel advisors in the North American region will experience the BVI by participating in the educational Golden Virtual Roadshow. Now, the Golden Virtual Roadshow provides the opportunity for attendees to engage and view samples of all of the intriguing characteristics that makes the BVI so unique. Guests will be able to participate in lively presentations from tourism industry partners who would have collaborated with the BVI Tourist Board on this initiative. As it relates to those businesses, we have Bitter End Yacht Club, we have the BVI Sotheby's International Realty, Necker Island, Oil Nut Bay, Rosewood Little Dix Bay Resort, Sabre Rock Resort, Scrub Island, the Marins Virgin Gorda Villa Rentals, and we also have Wyndham Lambert Beach Resort. Now, viewers, a series of presentations aim to create indelible memories of the BVI that will keep the destination at the forefront of the minds of the territory's highly valued advisors. Now, the presentations are another demonstration of BVI love as the British Virgin Islands shares its amazing tourism products and extraordinary experiences with trusted travel advisors in the United States and Canada. Now, our Director of Tourism, Mr. Clive McCoy, said, and I quote, "In response to the challenges currently being experienced with face-to-face promotions, our dedicated team is proud to offer this opportunity to our travel advisors." He continued, "The virtual event is an ideal way for us to network in the North American region and showcase our beautiful destination." End of quote. Now, viewers will be able to participate in a cocktail making class with mixologist, with the one and only, of course, Robert Swain Jr. of On the Rocks Bartending. There's also going to be a yoga session with Amanda Georges, who is the owner of Frangipani Dance Studio, a cultural music extravaganza with the Heritage Dancers and with the Razor Blades Fungi Band. And of course, what would it be without a happy hour jam with DJ Lady Mix, of course, well known as Ayanna Phillips, or better known as Ayanna Phillips. I'm happy to see us adjusting, Kyla, with our tourism product, because in the midst of COVID-19, we have been forced to transition, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be left behind. The BVI, with all the successes we've seen on the health sector of the COVID-19 pandemic, has remained a safe destination and a resilient destination, but more importantly, an attractive destination. And so we're very happy to see the Tourist Board continuing to engage in innovative ways with the international market.
Of course, we're living in new times and definitely a new way of doing business. And the jurisdictions that are able to adapt during these times and keeping their destination to the front of travelers' minds is the ones that I think would come out on the better end when, I can't say when the pandemic is over, but when travel becomes a bit more safer. And we're definitely looking forward to that. But I'm very happy and definitely want to applaud the Tourist Board for moving forward with this very innovative way of marketing. Now, as we move forth, on January 18th, viewers, you may have remembered outgoing Governor Augustus J.U. Jasper launched a commission of inquiry into the affairs of the British Virgin Islands. Now, this is something that we'll be speaking about for months to come. So we took to the road to ask the residents of the BVI to offer their views on the establishment of this commission of inquiry. Here's a few clips.
Well, I think it comes at a good time because me personally, I have a lot of unanswered questions, and I think there are a lot of issues in a community that a lot of us don't have answers to, and it's just you're not seeing an end result. For example, like the BVI Airways matter, you know, the wall. Like there's no transparency at all, and this is something that has been happening forever, like a very long time, as long as I know myself living here, and I've been here a while. You know, there's just so many things that you just get swept under the rug. So I definitely think there needs somebody unbiased and like on the outside to help us out a bit and steer us on a clearer path. hopefully things don't get bad, but I think a lot of people are looking at it negatively because of what happened to Turks and Caicos. As you probably, I don't know if people know, but they had a commission of inquiry as well, and they found the government to be very corrupt, and it ended up being going towards direct rule from the UK. But I don't really think that things are that bad here. But we just definitely need some more clear lines and, more better guidance. And I think this is, I think everybody needs to tighten up a bit. So I think it is a good thing. People, I think a lot of people are looking at it negatively because, they're looking at the race card. That's what a lot of people think. And a lot of people still are doing things that they don't want uncovered. So of course they're gonna be against it. But with the people who are paying taxes and stuff, we absolutely deserve to know what is going on. And it's not been happening. We haven't been getting what we deserve. We haven't been getting those answers. So I'm absolutely for it. And I hope everyone participates and, it brings about much needed change and answers to, a lot of issues that we have facing us here in the Virgin Islands.
I think it's a very good idea, and that will give us a clear picture as to what our government is doing with our funds and what's exactly going on in the British Virgin Islands right now. Because through this pandemic, we have enough dealing with, so we need to be very careful how the money is spent and that the money is used for important things like finances when it comes to salaries and things like that. So we can't have our funds being allocated or used wrongfully or put at the wrong place. Because right now things are hard for everybody and we need to make sure our funds are being dealt with in a correct manner.
Now, viewers, these were just a few of the persons that we were able to catch up with while we were on the road. But Javon, one notable thing being on the road was the fact that a lot of persons were intimidated to be on camera and really voice their views publicly about this commission of inquiry. And I think that's very concerning, being, just having to be, is a very important topic at the end of the day. And the fact that persons are afraid to publicly speak about it, I think that's something that we should definitely look at.
I think it's very telling, Kyla, even when you think about the way that complaints will be received. The Commission of Inquiry vows to preserve confidentiality, but at the same time, they will require persons who are sending in complaints to state their full name, even though that information will not be disclosed to the public. So a lot of persons, and especially since we're living in such a small community, a lot of persons are seemingly intimidated by speaking on the matter. But we have to continue to create a culture where, because we do live in a democratic society, and at the end of the day, the voters are the persons who put the government in place. We should not be afraid to use our voices within the community.
Most definitely. And one of the things that even one of these interviews, people were really speaking about what happened in Turks and Caicos. This has been a big conversation since the establishment of the Commission of Inquiry right here in the BVI. So we went ahead and we were able to secure an exclusive interview with the former premier of Turks and Caicos Islands, which will be premiering at 8 p.m. And I think this is a very important interview. I think persons will really see the insider look of what that looks like. Because as some persons may know, Turks and Caicos Islands was taken over by the governor after about 2 years, 2 to 3 years after the Commission of Inquiry. Their constitution was partially suspended. These are all the things that we have to consider as we are now going through this process. So viewers, make sure to tune in at 8 p.m. this evening as we sit down with Mr. Michael Mizik, the former premier of Turks and Caicos Islands.
Absolutely. Now, viewers, still ahead of the break, we are live with Dr. Sharlon Lewis, of course, to talk about the AstraZeneca vaccine experience, as well as tourism establishments, continues to take a hit here in the BVI. We're talking about that and all that. We're talking about that and so much more after this commercial break. Stick with us.
The wind! Oh!
What are the hell?
I'm freaking out!
Is time.
284 News, coming to you live and direct from the beautiful British Virgin Islands.
What's poppin', what's really good, what's happening, what's up?
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, the BVI was able to secure just about 8,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine. Of course, that was procured by the United Kingdom in responsibility to us as British overseas territories. As a result of that procurement, the BVI is now set to benefit at least 4,000 residents, now set to benefit from vaccinations. Now, one of the first persons on the front line that received a vaccination, a dose of that COVID-19 vaccine, is our very own Dr. Sharlon Lewis. Welcome back to 284 Media.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
All right, so Sharlon, as a medical professional, you have taken it as one of your personal responsibilities to really share on not only what, right, officially qualified, stamped, not only share on what the vaccine is and what it represents, but also, very importantly, your personal experience. And as a result of being on the front line, you were able to get your first dose last Friday, I believe. Walk us through that experience.
So it was really easy. I went to the Orlando Smith Hospital. I filled out a form just, stating if I've been ill anytime recently, if I've received any vaccines recently. Went inside, worked along with some nurses I've known from when I was working at Health Services Authority. Got my vaccine. I didn't even realize I was done. Is it
really that painless, or is that like an exaggeration?
Everybody's like the tiniest needle. It's not a big, chunk of a needle. I've had other vaccines that have been more traumatic at the time, things like the tetanus vaccine, and a lot of our residents would have known that because they're supposed to get that one every 10 years. That's something that a lot of people in construction would be familiar with because they're supposed to get that more regularly since that, they work in that environment. It really wasn't anything traumatic. No.
Okay, so you spoke about having to fill out a form, some prerequisite questions. Walk us through a few of those, because I know one of the concerns is, and I think Dr. Ronald George has referred to this in an interview. He said it's possibly a good thing to do a health check prior to taking the vaccine, just to see where you're at. Were those questions a part of the form that you had to fill out prior to taking the vaccine?
Yeah, they were a part of the questionnaire, and just questions about if I've had any recent illnesses, if I'd been vaccinated recently. I think it was more along the lines of, do I have any chronic diseases? And remember, one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to identify those persons who have chronic diseases because they actually are further up in the phase than somebody who doesn't. So if you know you have a chronic disease, you're more at risk for getting and suffering from COVID-19. And so you'll be higher priority to actually get even from this batch of vaccines that we have.
Now that you just said that, let's talk about possibly, for example, if someone was on hypertension medication, would that be a clash with taking the COVID-19 vaccine?
It's not a clash at all. And what it means is that they should actually get the vaccine because they're more at risk of suffering from COVID-19. The way COVID-19 actually works in your body, somebody with a chronic disease like hypertension, diabetes, they suffer more than somebody who doesn't have these chronic diseases. So I've had quite a few people reaching out to me like, oh, doc, I'm diabetic. Should I take it? Like, yes, you need to be high up in the priority list. I'm actually, I work with Diabetes Association, and we're also encouraging our members and, family members to get vaccinated as soon as possible to give better protection.
I know there are lots of qualms with the vaccine. I think the mere fact that it was developed in such a short time.
Right.
So there are lots of theorists who have lots of questions about the true nature of the vaccine. For those persons, what would you want to say to them based on the seat that you have in the medical field and the knowledge that you carry, of course, as it relates to this vaccine?
So normally we know that a vaccine takes years to develop, and really and truly, there's several reasons that this vaccine was developed so quickly. One of which would have been the need. This disease started off looking like something like the flu, and we know that the flu actually kills a lot of people every year. We just don't really have those kind of numbers here, but it is quite a deadly disease. But then it turned out to be something a lot worse than the flu. So there was a huge need because this little virus shut down the entire world. So whatever smart minds we have had around that were doing other things, they dropped everything and they decided to work on this issue. The other thing was that we actually had a disease to treat. Now, when it comes to vaccines, you can't give somebody a disease and then give them something to prevent it and see how it works. No. That's unethical and just totally illogical. So we actually had to, even though people are working in the vaccine, arm of pharmaceuticals, you would have had to wait for this strain to develop and then they can develop things to kind of fight against it, including the vaccine. It's unethical to give somebody a disease and then, try to fix it. So they had to have a demand, they had to have a subject, population, and we have so many people. To put that into perspective, to get FDA approval for a drug, which they're still waiting for. The thing is that they got their study results late, so they're waiting for the committees.
And that is the AstraZeneca.
That's the AstraZeneca. So the things like the Moderna and the Pfizer would have had their studies finished before this one. And the AstraZeneca, their results came out a bit later, like towards the end of January. So they're still waiting for the FDA committees to meet. The FDA needs 3,000 people in a study to be considered significant enough to give a valid result. This AstraZeneca was tested on almost 25,000. So we're talking 8 times the amount of people that would have been needed for approval just from the FDA. And it's already been approved by 2 independent European boards and independent European review boards. So we actually have a lot of confidence in this AstraZeneca vaccine.
Now, we cannot deny that the AstraZeneca, in comparison to Pfizer and Moderna, has less efficacy. Are you at least concerned about that?
The thing is that some protection is still better than nothing. So I actually had a discussion with some family members of mine who are in the Netherlands Antilles, and they were talking about the fact that they're getting the Pfizer vaccine, and the thing is for them, the whole cold chain and transportation of that vaccine worked out a bit better for them. For us in our climate, especially not having, the sub-freezing temperatures available that you need to transport these other vaccines, the AstraZeneca has a very good efficacy rate of over 80%. It's almost 85%. So it gives quite a good bit of coverage, and it's transportable in our climate, which means that we want something that by the time it gets here, it's actually going to be able to work, as opposed to we try to fight so much, and then by the time it gets here in our hot climate, it's only 50%, effectiveness, which reduces it anyway. So this one that we're getting is actually able to work in our climates a lot better.
Okay, and before we go, Dr. Sharlon, we're trying to prepare the population because clearly this is a very new thing, and we have our qualms with vaccinations in the Caribbean region specifically.
With medication as a whole.
Generally, right? So we want to prepare the population as much as we can and as realistically as we can for this vaccine. I personally recall you saying, there were chills. Just walk us through your personal experience and how quickly you were able to recover and essentially what persons can expect.
So I personally had some effects later on in the evening. I got my dose at about 11:30 on Friday morning.
Okay.
I was able to complete an entire day. We had a wellness fair, through my workplace. I was out in the sun. I was up and down. I was doing everything. I've been going to the gym. I've been waking up early in the morning, getting things done. So by Friday night, usually I'm very tired. And that is how I felt on Friday evening. I may have had some chills, so I took a hot shower, and I felt maybe just a little tired, maybe a little achy. It felt like if I'd had a really good workout. And that was it for me Friday night. I went to sleep. Saturday morning, I woke up. It might have been a bit difficult to lift my arm, but other than that, I was fine. Maybe a little lazy, but I was pretty good. And then by yesterday, Sunday, I was back to normal completely.
Okay, I think the laziness thing is just generally a weekend thing for us here in the region.
Yeah.
But Dr. Sharlon, I think quite a mouthful, and I know you continue to share even on your private platforms. We appreciate it. And we want to, of course, encourage you to continue to share with us, especially here at 284 Media.
I definitely will. Thank you for having me again.
Excellent. Viewers, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're getting into the governor. He has been visiting the sister islands, and there's lots of updates coming out to that story, so stick with us.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Just before the break, we had Dr. Sharlon Lewis, private doctor right here in the Bridge, Virgin Islands, which actually got her first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. Very informative interview, if I could say so myself. I was very tuned in and listened to what she had to say, and I think that's the sentiment of most BVI landers right now, as the COVID-19 vaccine has now been starting to be distributed in the territory.
I think it's important that we continue to really dive into the information, and I really wish that we had taken a more public approach as it relates to campaigning on what the vaccine means, what the experience is like, what it means for our territory and our economy. I think there is a lot more that we can do. So I'm very happy to see, even within private practices, persons like Dr. Sharlon Lewis coming forward and saying, listen, this is my experience, and based on the information we've been able to gather so far, this is what I can present to you, because it gives the population a more informed opportunity to make a decision on whether they want to take the vaccine or not, and especially since it's a voluntary on a voluntary basis.
I agree. I think just encouraging persons more and more to be informed, make an informed decision, look up the information. The doses are now available in our region. All you have to do is make that informed decision to get vaccinated.
Absolutely. And even on the international scene, Kyle, before we move on, we do see most of the vaccines that were approved, which is the AstraZeneca that we have here in the BVI, Moderna, and Pfizer, they all come in double doses.
Right.
But we do see lots of experts coming forward from the Johnson & Johnson brand. So soon enough, we might have something on the market that is a single dose, which makes it a lot easier for distribution. And not just that, when they were doing the initial trials for vaccinations, they exempted children and pregnant women. And we do see that trials have now begun on children.
So much to digest. Now, before we wrap up, we're just looking at Governor John Rankin, who is somewhat island hopping. Just last week he was in Virgin Gorda, and he went over to Jost Van Dyke to meet the people of that territory. Here he is with the famous Foxy. I'm sure he played him some of his famous tunes, but it really looked like Governor Rankin had a really great time over there in Jost Van Dyke, and next week he will actually be in Anegada. And we just speak to the fact that it's very important for him to go over to these sister islands and get familiar with what the environment and the scenery looks like over there. So I'm hoping that he's having a great time, as he is also on duty.
Well, the governor is making his rounds, definitely, and we're happy to see him out and about in the community. I think there's a lot to be learned. Today we spoke to Kareem Nelson Hall, of course, on the launch of his VI dictionary. I'm hoping that he can gift the governor one of his dictionaries, because it's important that wherever you are, wherever you're planted, wherever you're serving, it's important for you to really learn about your environment and be as embedded as possible. So I'm happy to see the governor really taking advantage of this early opportunity to get out and know the people, to shake, to eat Johnny cake, and do all things VI. So kudos to you, Governor. But viewers, for now, that is all the time we have. Lots more to go over, but you can check us out via our 284 Media website, or also on Facebook at 284 Media, and Instagram and Twitter as well at 284 BVI. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I am Kyla Kenesha Forbes. Of course, make sure to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. After our newscast. We have so much more for you as we catch up with the premiere over in the former premiere that is in Turks and Caicos Islands. Have a great evening, everyone. Bye.